Ready, steady, go!
Angry Bird surprise egg. I wonder what's inside. Alright, let's take a look. And inside this super awesome red bird surprise, we have King Pig. This King Pig certainly makes a great Christmas tree decoration.
Hey, they call me the King Pig, and I like stealing those eggs from the Angry Birds.
And next up here we have a Kinder Surprise egg. Arr, me hearties, let's open her up. And inside this Kinder Surprise egg, here we have a sprinty race car. This futuristic looking race car has loads of style. Here we have a Disney Pixar Cars surprise egg. Alright Fluffy Jets, let's unwrap this one together and see what we get. And here we have the forever adorable Cars character Guido. Guido's cute and Guido is super fast. And next up, here we have a Super Mario Brothers surprise egg. Let's open up this super awesome looking surprise egg and see what treasure we find inside. And here we have a super awesome Yoshi key tag. Now a fun question for all the viewers out there, who is your second favourite Super Mario Brothers character? And next up, Fluffy Jets, we have a Disney Princess surprise. I wonder what mystery surprise we're going to find inside. And inside, here we have the beautiful Princess Cinderella. And next up, here we have a super cool Kinder Surprise egg. Sometimes you just never know what magic surprise you'll find inside. And from the Kinder 2013 Sprinty releases, here we have the Beach House Jet Ski Launcher. Alright, let's do it. Time to fire the jet ski.
I'm loving the beach house, baby.
And next here we have another super cool Kinder Surprise. Now a quick question for all the viewers out there, can you guess what's inside this Kinder Surprise? And here we have 3 special effect tiger pictures. Now another fun question for all the viewers out there, which is your favourite out of these 3 lenticular images?
And next up, here we have another Kinder Surprise! Yay!
I wonder what's inside. Let's take a look. And here we have our first duplicate for this unboxing, another Beach House Jet Ski Launcher. Alright guys and girls, now who wants to go for a ride in the jet skis? And next up, here we have another Disney Pixar Cars 2 surprise egg. Alright, now let's open this together. Now what Cars 2 character would you like to find inside? And here we have Doc Hudson. Now one of Fluffy Jet's favourite scenes from the Cars series is when Lightning McQueen and Doc Hudson are racing on the dirt and Lightning McQueen crashes through the dirt. And here we have a super amazing Barbie surprise egg. Let's open up this one together and see what Barbie surprise we get. Now there are some really cool Barbie surprise collectibles. And here we have a really cool Barbie photo frame. And now we're down to the lucky last 3 surprise eggs. Now Fluffy Jets, if you're still watching, thank you so much. And here we have a Disney Princess surprise. I wonder what's inside. Toy Story egg. I wonder what's inside. And here we have lots of Huggin' Bear. This bear is one of my all-time favourite Toy Story characters. And next up we have a super awesome Kinder Surprise. Let's take a look inside and see what we get. And here we have Squint the Rabbit from Ice Age 4, the naughty Easter Bunny that teams up with Captain Gut. And here we have egg number 3. I wonder what's inside this Hello Kitty surprise egg. I wonder what's inside. And here we have a really cute animal badge. And next up, join me as we crack into a Disney Cars surprise egg. Let's take a look inside and see what we get. And here we have the one and only Sheriff. Definitely a very cool character. And guys and girls, here we have something really special, a Beanie Kids Easter Series 2 surprise egg. I wonder what's inside. And here we have a super adorable Easter Bunny wearing overalls. This Easter Bunny's got style. And next up we have the Trash Pack Series 3 surprise egg. Let's take a look inside and see what trashies we get. And here we have Bing Critters number 468 Rottweiler and the Grubs number 373 Gunk Pumpkin, which is a rare trashy. How cool is that? And here we have egg number 7, a party animal surprise egg. Let's unwrap this egg together and see what's inside. And here we have possibly the cutest thing of this unboxing, a party animal dressed up as a starlit soda cup.
Drink time!
And here we have the second to last opening. Thanks for sticking with me while we unbox all these surprise eggs. Let's take a look. And here we have a super groovy Barbie badge. And last but not least, here we have an Angry Birds Red Bird surprise egg.
I wonder what's inside.
And here we have Bluebird, yeah! Bring it on, woo! Woo! Yeah. Hello. what's inside egg number 1. And here we go, inside the first egg we've got Slinky Dog from Toy Story. And now it's time to check out egg number 2. And what have we got here? It's Jessie from Toy Story. And next up is the first Kinder Surprise egg to be revealed. I wonder what's inside this egg. Here we go. What have we got here? It's the penguin train driver from Madagascar 3. As you can see, the 3 pieces of this penguin train driver toy are easy to put together. And here we have another super tasty Kinder Surprise egg. Let's take a look inside and see what we get. Drum roll please, here we have this super cool penguin Lovelace from Happy Feet 2, played by Robin Williams. To put it simply, Lovelace is just too cool for school. Okay guys and girls, now we're going to check out the first of 2 trash pack eggs. Now when I saw these trash pack eggs on the shelves, I thought, yeah baby, we've got to take a look. As I'm fairly unacquainted with the trash pack series, it'll be very interesting to see what's inside these eggs. And laying inside we have not 1 but 2 trashies, which is an awesome surprise. Here we have from the Trash Pack Series 2, Finsec Squish Fish number 84 and Hard Rubbish Grubby number 53. Looking at these crazy cute little trashies, the Trash Pack certainly has something to offer for collectors out there looking for something different and fun. And next up, here we have a Toy Story egg. The question is, can you guess what's inside? Now, as you know, there are quite a few Toy Story characters and it could be any one of them. Well, there's only one way to find out. It's none other than Buzz Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear would have to be one of my favourite Toy Story characters of all time. And next up we have another Toy Story egg. Once again, there could be anything inside this egg. Is it a shark? Is it a plane? Is it better than a shark and a plane combined? Yes, it's Rex from Toy Story, our favourite dinosaur. And next in line we have our good old favourite Kinder Surprise egg. Thumbs up if you like Kinder chocolate as much as I do. Okay, it's time to reveal the next surprise egg. What do we have? Do we have Superman? Is it Bo Peep? Is it your next door neighbour? It's Melman the giraffe from Madagascar 3. There are some included stickers for the train carriage, and as you can see, it's easy to put Melman and the train carriage together. Honestly, guys and girls, one of the funniest giraffes I've seen in a very long time. And here we have the muscly insect, praying man to strong man from Toy Story. Ladies and gentlemen, we've uncovered quite a few mysteries. Let's check out these last few remaining surprises. The first egg of the lucky last three is a Kinder Surprise egg. Let's unravel the mystery together and see what's inside. I know you're all in quite a bit of anticipation right at this moment. It is the flying penguin from Happy Feet 2, the Mighty's Van. As you can see, we've got a great display piece which is easy to put together. And here we have the second egg of the lucky last three. No doubt all of us which are still watching are very keen to see what's inside this egg. And once again, here we have our beloved friend from Toy Story, Rex the dinosaur. Now 1 double and 6 Toy Story eggs is not a bad ratio by any means. And lucky last to unwrap, here we have the second of 2 trash pack eggs. The time has come to reveal what lies under this last mystery egg. Now we know there's going to be 2 trashies, but we've got no idea which ones. Well, today must be a lucky day because alongside the Trash Pack Series 2 Bin Critters Yuck Duck number 109, we've got an ultra rare Astro Trash Trash Droid. silver Marvel Avengers chocolate surprise egg. Let's unwrap this baby and see what treasure we find inside. And here we have a tag featuring the first Avenger, Captain America. And next up here we have a chocolate Angry Bird surprise. Let's crack into this Angry Bird surprise egg and see what surprise we get. And here we have Bluebird. Now this cute Bluebird is also a pencil topper. And next up here we have another Marvel Avengers surprise egg. Let's unwrap this chocolate egg together and see what we get. And here we have a special effect picture of Captain America which you place together to make a key tag. Now a quick question for all the viewers out there. From Marvel's The Avengers, who's your favourite character? And next up here we have another super cool chocolate Angry Bird surprise egg. I wonder what's inside. Let's crack open this chocolate. And here we have a really cute white bird, which also works as a pencil topper. And next here we have a Disney Princess surprise egg. Let's see what princess collectible we find when we crack open this Disney surprise egg. And our first bit of jewellery for this unboxing, a Disney Princess ring. Some very nice pink flowers. And next up we have a super surprise, a Spongebob surprise egg. It could be anything inside this egg. Let's take a look. And here we have a super cool Spongebob key tag with one mean looking face. Rawr! And next up it's time to open the Shrek surprise egg. Alright guys and girls, let's take a look and see what character we find inside. And here we have a question for all the viewers out there. Who can tell me the name of this mystery Shrek character? Please leave your comments below. And get ready for it. Next we have a Samurai Power Rangers surprise egg. I wonder what's inside. And ladies and gentlemen, here we have a Samurai Power Rangers eraser.
What egg should I pick next? Barbie.
For surprise egg number 9, here we have a Barbie surprise egg. Guys and girls, see if you can make a guess as to what Barbie collectible we're going to find. And here we have a pink Barbie bracelet. And now we're down to the lucky last 3 surprise eggs. And here we have a Hello Kitty surprise egg. Let's take a look inside this Hello Kitty surprise egg and see what we get. And here we have a super awesome Hello Kitty key tag. Kitty got style, man. And second to last, here we have a Disney Princess surprise. I wonder what's inside.
Stop saying I wonder what's inside.
And here we have a heart-shaped Snow White key tag. Now another fun quick question for all the viewers out there. What do you like better, Snow White's hair or Snow White's dress? And now we're down to the lucky last surprise egg. Here we have a Super Mario Brothers surprise. Alright, let's unwrap this surprise together. It could be anything. And here we have a Super Mario Brothers red turtle whistle. Yeah, that's cool. Here we have a Kinder Surprise. I wonder what's inside. And here we have Papa Smurf.
And next up, here we have an Angry Bird surprise. Let's rip it open and see what bird we find inside.
And here we have a very pretty red bird.
Oh, hey, how are you? Do you like my hair tie?
next we're opening up another Kinder Surprise. Let's take a look inside and see what we get. And here we have a fun quick question for all the viewers out there who can tell me who this mystery character is. And next up here we have a Disney Pixar Cars surprise.
Hey, my name's Mater, and I'm the greatest backwards driver in the whole world.
Alright guys and girls, let's see what we find.
Wow, look at me, I am so beautiful.
You don't have your wheels on yet.
And here we have Raul Sahul.
Oh, well, real sound, that's what I gonna suppose.
And next in line, here we have a Disney Princess Surprise Egg. I wonder what magical princess we're gonna find inside. Now another fun quick question for all the viewers out there. Who is your #1 favourite Disney princess? And here we have Rapunzel.
Now it's Goldilocks.
No, it is Rapunzel. And next here we have a Monsters University Surprise Egg.
Which monster do you think we're gonna find inside?
And here we have the villain Randall Boggs.
Help me, I'm trapped in this plastic.
Randall Boggs likes to cause trouble. He's a troublemaker.
And next here we have a Marvel Universe Surprise Egg. Let's crack open this egg and see if we find a yolk inside. And here we have an awesome Thor sticker.
Oh no, it's a zombie. I'm gonna attack you with my powerful hammer.
Ah, so which surprise are we gonna check out next? Yeah!
And next up, here we have an Angry Bird Surprise Egg. I wonder what birdie we're gonna find inside.
Wow, lots of cool pencil toppers to collect. And here we have a Bluebird pencil topper.
I feel like some chickens and I'm really hungry. I wanna be fed, feed me. I'm so hungry.
And next up, here we have a Kinder Surprise. Let's rip this egg to shreds and see what happens.
And inside here we have another fun quick question for all the viewers out there. Who can tell me who this mystery Smurf is?
I'm a flower ghost. Hey, where's my flower? Over here. Ah, scary ghost flower.
And third to last, here we have another Disney Princess Surprise.
Can anyone guess what princess we're gonna find?
And here we have another fun quick question for all the viewers out there. Who can tell me who this mystery princess is?
Pretty good. Hey, I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. Oh, you're both the best in the world.
My name is Mike Wazowski and I'm the best monster in the world.
And second to last, here we have another Monsters University Surprise Egg. I wonder what's inside.
here we have Don Carlton. He's my favourite character.
And last but not least, here we have another Angry Bird surprise egg. Let's unravel the mystery together and see what we get.
Project inside the capsule.
And here we have Redbird.
Disney Cars egg. I wonder what's inside. Here we have Race Team Luigi. The stickers really bring Luigi to life. And here we have our first Toy Story egg of this unboxing. Let's crack this egg open and see what gold we find inside. And I'm very pleased to say here we have Buttercup the unicorn. As most of you would know, despite the cute features, Buttercup is a male unicorn. And next up, here we have a really cool Angry Birds surprise egg. I'm really curious to see what we find inside. And here we have a very cute looking red bird. Redbird comes with a looper string which you can use to carry or fly Redbird or as a Christmas ornament. And now I'm pleased to unveil the second of two Disney Cars eggs. I wonder what's inside. And here we have Finn McMissile. I've got to say, with the stickers it really brings Luigi and Finn to life. And next up, here we have a Barbie surprise egg. Let's take a look and see what we get. And inside we have a Barbie photo frame collectible which reads, "Love that style." As you can see, the photo frame comes with a stand. And next up we have another Toy Story egg. Let's take a look and see what we get. And here we have a very funny, cute looking alien, one of the little green men from Toy Story. And next up we have another super awesome Angry Bird surprise egg. Let's take a look inside this giant red bird and see what we get. And here we have Orange Bird, which I'm sure all of you remember from the Angry Birds at Halloween. And here we have the lucky last surprise egg of this unboxing. A Barbie surprise egg. It could be a miniature doll, some stickers, a picture. Let's take a look and see what we get. And for all the Barbie fans out there, here we have a super awesome Barbie mirror. As you can see, the pink flower design mirror opens and closes very easily. Nice artwork and a quality collectible.
How about some ice cream?
Bunches. Kawabunga.
Here.
Cookies.
Yeah, eat it.
Okay,
Oh, yummy.
let's count some cookies. 1, 2, 3. Please count cookies. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, won't you please count along with me? Nom, nom, nom. Excuse me. Cookie. Nom, 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 nom. Scrumptious. Kawabunga. Hiya. Me smell cookies. Okay, let's count some cookies. 1, 2, 3. Me count cookies. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, won't you please count along with me? Nom, nom. Excuse me. Cookies.
We have a Disney Fairies egg. I wonder what's inside this egg. Here we have Terrence, an enthusiastic dustkeeper fairy who is best friends with Tinkerbell. His favourite food is strawberry cake. And here we have egg number 2, another Disney fairy egg. I wonder what's inside. Here we have Bobby, a Tinker geek who wears dewdrop glasses and loves playing hide and seek. And here we have Moose Toys Party Animals Surprise Egg number 3. Let's see what we get. Cute sticker and an adorable dress-up tiger figurine. Very exciting number 4, a Transformers Surprise Egg. I wonder whether we'll get an Autobot or a Decepticon.
And here we have Sentinel Prime, the predecessor and mentor of Optimus Prime and the Einstein of the Cybertronian race.
Very happy to reveal that surprise egg number 5 is from the Smurfs. It's actually a mushroom, duh. Ah, my mistake. Surprise mushroom. Let's open that up and see what we get. And believe it or not, we've been lucky enough to pick up Papa Smurf, the leader of the Smurfs, who, as we know, loves smurfing plenty of magic spells and magic potions. Can anyone guess what's inside? Let's take a look. Here we have a duplicate Bobby from Disney Fairies. Can anyone notice any differences? And here we have the final egg, which is from Disney Princess. Easy enough to put together. Inside we have Princess Aurora, who featured as the title character in the 1959 Disney hit movie Sleeping Beauty. candy surprises. Thanks for coming down, Bear Grylls. Take it away. First up, here we have a Disney Princess surprise egg. Let's take a look inside this marvelous egg and see what we find. And here we have one of the coolest Disney princesses of all time. Rapunzel certainly has beautiful hair, which keeps her warm in the winter. And next up, out in the wild, we found a Kinder Surprise Easter Bunny.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I wonder what's inside. Hey, Bear Grylls, open up the rabbit and let's take a look.
Hey, I'm a chocolate bunny.
Here we have, straight from the wild, a DJ cricket, a very rare insect. Bear Grylls, as your special guest, please don't forget to leave a suggestion, rate, favorite, share, subscribe and comment, and all that other fantastic stuff, and we'll see you next time. Like always, for more FluffyJet, please click any of the previews on your screen right now.
FluffyJet Productions TV.
Please stay tuned for more episodes of FluffyJet coming soon.
for watching, and we'll see you next time. Yay!